What's going on, guys? So today we are going over my most profitable deal ever. You do not want to miss out. All right, so obviously this isn't my prettiest deal, but it is the most profitable. So what's rule number one? Doesn't really matter how pretty it is. All that comes down to in flipping and investing is the numbers. Let me give you a little brief rundown of what exactly you're looking at. So this is a 10-unit apartment that I bought about 2 years ago. We were doing some direct marketing just for single family homes, and one of the sellers goes to us and they say, hey, I don't want to sell that home, but I do have this 10-unit apartment if you guys are interested in that. We weren't apartment investors, but I always train my guys, when there's an opportunity, say yes, we will figure it out in the meantime. So that's rule number 2 of this video is, even if you don't know how to do something, you can figure it out. Don't just say, I can't do it. If I would have had that attitude, I would not have been able to get this deal. He tells us, go take a look at it, tell me what you think. So when I looked at this place 2 years ago, it doesn't look like anything special right now, but this is like super nice compared to what it was. When I came here, there was cars everywhere. People were selling drugs. People were selling AK machine guns. I'm pretty sure someone probably murdered their mom in here. I have no idea, but there's rumors. On top of that, I couldn't get inside because everything was locked. They didn't want anyone getting in. The owner had said that he hadn't gotten rent in 3 years. So I'm pretty much buying this blind. I can't get in any of the units. There's a whole bunch of mischief going on. I wouldn't even want to go in there, even if I could. And then I was walking around the perimeter and I noticed there was some smoke above one of the windows. We ended up peeking our head in there. To our surprise, one of the whole units was burnt down. So I reported back my findings to the seller. And I said, I don't think you realize how bad this is. He was out of state in LA, older guy, owned it cash. Yeah, he wasn't getting rent, but it's not like it was costing him a ton of money, so he didn't really care that much. At this point, as I said, I wasn't an apartment guy. I didn't know what it was worth. I had an idea of what it would cost to fix it up because, you know, fixing up apartments and houses, pretty similar. So I asked him, what do you want for it? Originally, he had said he wanted $400,000 to $500,000. I said, okay, I honestly have no idea if that's a good deal or not. So I did the best research I could, looked on the tax records to see what other 10 units have sold around here. A 10-unit apartment isn't a very common thing, so there wasn't a lot of comparables that way. But I did find one that had sold for $700,000. So at least gave me a little bit of a baseline. So knowing that there was gonna be a whole bunch of headaches with this, with evicting people, with fixing them up, not knowing the condition of them, I just told the guy, I said, I give you $200,000 for it. Like, if I'm gonna put in this work, this thing could be hundreds of thousands of dollars in rehab. I mean, if this one sold for $700, I need this thing really cheap to make it worthwhile. And he told me, he said, no, 200's way too low. No way I take that. So we negotiated for months. He had said that he wanted to come and fix it himself. And I said, sir, no disrespect, you're like 70 years old living in LA. There's no way you are gonna be able to get these people out and fix them up and do all that from LA. And he's a pretty stubborn guy. He's an entrepreneur too. And he said, well, I'm gonna move to Vegas. I'm gonna go do it myself. I'm gonna go kick out all that riffraff for, you know, not paying and doing all the things they're doing. And I said, dude, you might die doing it yourself. I said, you've had all this success your whole life. You've built up pretty good wealth. Why would you put yourself through that, you know, at the end of your life? You should be retired right now. You know, eventually, after a couple of months negotiating, we finally came up with a deal that worked for both parties. So during that time, I ended up recommending to him a seller finance option. And so with seller finance, it works out for both of us because for me, I could buy this without having to go get a loan. And for him, he wasn't making money on this anyway, so he might as well make some money from me getting a guaranteed payment. But I knew that I wouldn't be making money on this for a long time. I knew it was gonna take me a while to evict everyone, and I knew it was gonna take me a while to renovate them all. I told him, I go, hey, if we're gonna do this, I need some time to not make payments. And he understood, he was totally cool with it. So here's the deal we worked out. I ended up getting it for $300,000. I only had to put $16,000 down, and that was essentially to pay off all his back due taxes that he owed on it. And I negotiated a 10-year seller finance. Now, the first 3 years of that, I didn't have to make any payments at all. And then the next 7 years, my payments were only $1,250 a month on a 10-unit apartment. Let that sink in. I'm standing in what used to be a pool. We didn't fill this up. He ended up doing it a while back, but there used to be a pool right here, which makes absolutely no sense with a 10-unit apartment. There's no way you could justify the cost of having a pool with only 10 units. So once we agreed on everything, getting him to sign was also difficult because he's an older guy. He didn't want to do electronic signature, and I knew it was a big deal, so I wanted to make sure everything went smooth. So I drove down to LA personally to go get him to sign. And he was being very non-responsive on the way there, and I wasn't sure if he was going to show up or not, but he did. We built good rapport and we signed the contract. And around mid-2018, I bought my first apartment. So the first thing that I had to do with this apartment was get rid of everyone. Nobody was paying rent, nobody had a lease, illegal things going on in here. It was bad news. We ended up serving everyone evictions. It took about 6 months to finally get everyone out of here, because what would happen was we'd evict somebody illegally and then they'd go and move into a different apartment, and then we had to go and evict them again. It's crazy how the law works, but that was what we had to do. It's ridiculous. After 6 months, we finally got everyone out of here. Once we got everyone out, then we had to go assess the damage done to all the units. And surprisingly, they weren't that bad of shape. I was actually really surprised. You gotta remember, this part of town isn't the best area. You don't need like this lavish unit. All the units had some tile flooring that was in pretty good shape. So we ended up keeping the tile. This brown paint, we ended up just keeping. It doesn't really affect the rent one way or another. So it doesn't look great, but they're all fully rented, so it doesn't really matter. In some of the units, the showers, they were just fine. So a lot of the time, all we had to do was paint and do the kitchen. So it actually wasn't as bad as I thought, so that was good. I wanted to get all of the units that were closest to being ready done first so we could start making money on them, get this place occupied, and that's exactly what we did. The cool thing that happened was a missionary from Africa needed a place to stay, and I just so happened to be finishing up our first unit. I wanted to do something cool for them and help them out because they needed a place, so I let them stay in that very first unit. It helped them out, and it also put somebody that I know and trusted in here, you know, while we were getting everything complete. So it was a blessing all the way around. We actually finally just moved them into a different place. You can find that video right here or in the description below. That was an amazing thing to give them. But yeah, let me show you one of the units right now. So this is what the majority of them look like now. It's a little dusty because this is actually the last unit that we're renovating. I saved the fire damage unit for last because I knew it was going to be the most rehab, the biggest headache, and so we have the other 9 units already rented. This is the only one that hasn't been rented. But we were able to do a lot of the rehab. You can already see the kitchen's done. This is the original tile flooring that all the units had, so I just kept it. This is actually where the fire was. So this is the last piece that we need to get approved by the city. So this one that we're in is a 2-bedroom unit. There's one other 2-bedroom, and then the other 8 are 1-bedroom units. To break down the numbers on this, the 2 bedrooms rent from anywhere from $800 to $900, that's market, and the 1 bedrooms go for about $700. So with all 10 of them rented out, this will be the last one. We are looking at over $7,000 in rent. And remember, I don't have a payment for 3 years. All of that goes directly to me. My only expenses would be the property manager, taxes, insurance, and then any repairs we gotta make. But the beauty is, we've pretty much repaired all the units before we rented them out, so there shouldn't be a ton. Another thing I like to do in all my rentals is put tile or LVT in them. I don't like any carpet because it has to get replaced all the time. Hard flooring is the best way to go. Here's where we stand at the time of this filming. I've owned this for about 2 years. We've got 9 of the units rented out. The last one will get rented out once the city approves the final repairs. We'll be getting over $7,000 a month in rent. I've got 1 more year of no payments at all. And then the next 7 years, my payment is only $1,250 a month. As far as renovation goes, we've kind of just done it as we've gone along with it. And we spent around $200,000 renovating all the units, ACs, permits, all that stuff. As of now, the apartment is worth around $1 million. I've done way more research since I bought it. I know commercial a little bit better, and I've talked to others about it. So if you want to look at it in the big picture, we paid $300,000 for it. We've put about $200,000 into it, and it's worth $1 million. If I were to sell this today, I'd profit over $500,000 when you count all the cash flow that we've gotten all these months. And if I hold this for a long time, all that cash flow will just continue to add to our profit. That's why this is my best deal ever. I don't have many deals where we make $500,000. We get to go help people and change lives. We get to go clean up the community. This is a huge win all the way around. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video and you want more content on seller financing, I need you to hit the like button and I need you to hit the subscribe button. You do those two things, I'm gonna make more content for you guys to learn how to get more deals just like that one that I got. Also, make sure you follow me on all my social channels. I'm very active on there. You can see the day-to-day life of being a real estate investor. And make sure you comment below on the different types of videos that you want to see. I'm trying to put out as much content as I can, so I don't know what you guys want to see unless you guys leave a comment. And until next time, take care.